ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's time for What Do You Call It? Podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of What You Call It podcast. I'm your host, GB. Before I introduce today's guest, I'm going to have to mention it because I'm actually recording this episode on my own birthday. Cheap plug, why not? So feel free to comment below. Even if it does come out after my birthday, happy birthday. I'll be much appreciated. Why not? Get that in there. Anyway, today's guest likes to say tateness is greatness. We will find out why he likes to say that. Please give it up for Tate Mayfairs. How you doing today, mate? You all good?
Woo-hoo! Of course, I feel great, brother. You know, the life of the Mayfairs is a good life. I feel fantastic. And let me take the time to say happy birthday to you. What a pleasure and an honor.
Thank you, mate. I did not expect that from you, of all people.
Hey, I can be nice. I can be nice if I need to, you know, if I want to, you know. So far, you've been respectful. You unlike a lot of the fans in attendance. But yes, happy birthday and thank you so much for having me on, mate.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. Honestly, to record this on my own birthday and to have you on as a guest, there is something special about you, and there's a reason why I'm doing it. And we're going to get into that in this episode. Before I talk about how you got into wrestling, your wrestling career, and other things, just because it's standing out at the moment on your social media, I've got to ask if you can reveal any kind of details. What is it that's going to be happening on the 22nd of February? Any hints, please, for the listeners? Come on. This is coming up before.
All the twos. 22nd of the 2nd, 22. And furthermore, UK time, 22 past 22.
Nice.
This kind of event, this kind of numerology only happens. How often does this happen? Once, ever, never, ever again. And on that day, it's only fitting that a once-in-a-lifetime event comes from words from a once-in-a-lifetime human being, and that being me. I have something to say. I have something to say to the public. I'm sick of the narrative drawn. I'm sick of the things that they say, they chant at me, and the way they try to categorize me and shoehorn me into an idea of something that I am not. I am not a normal human being. I am not a copy of another wrestler. I am not just another wrestler. I am the greatest professional wrestler to ever walk planet Earth. Don't believe me? Put it in Google, and what do you see? Me. On the images, on the search engine itself, on the videos, I am what I say I am, the greatest professional wrestler to ever walk planet Earth. And I will make that abundantly clear. And it's just a matter of time till everybody admits that tateness is greatness. I will say no more on it, but on 22nd of the 2nd, 2022, at 22 past 22, UK time, you will all find out.
I'm going to be paying attention, man. I've just got to pick apart what you said, though, because that is a bold statement to say you are the greatest professional wrestler that there is at the moment.
Yeah.
But what is it that the fans are chanting and saying about you that's pissed you off so much?
Oh, I've been called a Love Island reject. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny until you're the one saying I've been called a Towie reject, same stuff, you know, different show. I don't watch these things, but I understand what they're saying to me. I've been called Primark MJF. I've been called. That's painful. That's painful. And let me tell you, we'll get into.
Yeah, you've actually, mate, you literally rode with him. We will talk about that as the show goes on, but that is deep, man.
I've spent time with him, and let me tell you, between the two of us, there's only one man, Primark, and it's that cheap bastard. I'll tell you that. It ain't the Mayfairs. And let me say something else. What else have they called me? Yeah, they called me at the Progress and recently at TNT. They've called me just a shit Joey Essex. They called me.
I don't know if there's a good Joey Essex, but to be honest, and I'm from Essex.
So, come on, disrespect. And then furthermore, my clothing, they say shit scarf. They've said...
Mate, to be honest, I have to point this out. There's nothing wrong with a bit of Ralphie. Like, I can see it there. There's nothing wrong with wearing that.
You know what I mean? I'm a man of taste. I'm a man of style, and everything I wear looks
This is
good.
what I disagree with the fans. There's nothing wrong with wearing Ralph Lauren. So that they won.
Gold chain, gold rings, ruby ring, gold watch. I am what I say I am in every sense of the way. Greatness, and that personifies through my words, through my work, from the way I dress, the way I carry myself.
Mm.
They've also said that my tights look like Wetherspoon carpet, look like your grandma's curtains. I have been bullied and picked on in every situation by these ruthless, rude fans. I'm not the heel here.
Do
These
you
people
feel like the fans are jealous of you?
Hey, you said it.
I'm only asking the question. I don't speak for the fans. I'm interviewing you because I am a fan of yours. But I have to ask the questions. Maybe because they're doing it out of jealousy.
Hey, Dave. I didn't say it. You said it. You know, this is what we have to deal with in life. And I said it to someone else, and it's becoming clear to me, you know. Hey, what happened when The Rock came out? They said, die, Rocky, die.
They did.
Muhammad
They did.
Ali. They all bet against Muhammad Ali. They all spoke bad on Muhammad Ali. Conor McGregor, they all doubted him. Yeah, they all doubted him until they all prove him wrong. And just the same, I am walking the same path. This is the path of greatness. They all mock me. They mock the way I dress. They mock the way I carry myself. They mock my self-confidence. But it's just a matter of time till every knee bends, every head bows, and every tongue confesses that tateness is greatness.
I respect that, man. Just before I move on to how you got into wrestling, how would you feel if the fans were to be converted, change their ways, and started cheering you? Would you embrace it, or would you tell them to F off? Because that is a fair question.
It is a fair question. Truthfully, I see myself as I am greatness, and I see myself as a leader of the people, and I am willing to lead the people, but I'm not willing to pander to them. So I'm not gonna start turning around and you know, pandering to them like OJMO, like Michael Oko, and all these people. You know,
that's fair.
I slap him about just as quick as I slap the fans about. I will lead by example, and if people do see the light and they do decide to cheer me and get behind me, then I can only say you are on the right path.
I respect that, man. I respect that. The fans can be conflicted. I'm a fan myself, and I've changed my ways as well. But hopefully, they can change their ways, man. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's find out what made you a wrestling fan. When did you discover wrestling?
I was like 6 or 7 years old. It was the height of the Attitude Era, and I can't remember the exact moment, but like all the it was just what was hot, right? All the kids were in the playground and talking about it. Their older brothers had watched it, whatever. And I didn't have you've grown up in the UK your whole life.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was all on Sky.
Yep. VHS recording it. Yep.
It was a premium channel, and I did not grow up, despite the jewelry I don now. I did not grow up in wealth, and we did not have Sky, and we did not have, couldn't have like wrestling toys or things like that. So I had to. It was like hidden behind a closed door. Never mind be, you know, a bit too old for us to watch, and never mind it be over in America, and never mind it be this whole fantasy world. Like, it was even further away because I couldn't even get to it. So and I think that built up more of that attraction towards it that I had, because like I say, people were talking about it, and I was like, oh,
you needed to watch it. You had to find a way.
Yes, I like
craving.
Find it like leisure centers or where it would be playing, and I'll stay in there, or go around a friend's house and go into like WH Smith or
like Power Slam magazines. And you can tell we're Brits,
and I'll be like, what? Yeah, oh yeah. And
mate, I'll cut you off. Did you actually find yourself ever paying for it? I didn't. I just read it all.
Mate, again, we didn't have the money. I'd go there and I'd open it and I'd read every article, like around, and then stick it back and then get out the shop, you know. But yeah, no, I never did, mate. I was a weekly reader of Paris Time without paying a penny for it.
Oh, nice, man, nice. Who were some of your favorite wrestlers growing up?
So WCW side, it was Rey Mysterio and Hulk Hogan. And
Random combo, but fair.
Well, I think I always like, you know, as a main event guy, and then like you're like the guy that you really like, you know.
Yeah.
So Ray was that, and then but then I stayed up with WWE. I mean, it was The Rock and Jeff Hardy over there. You know, yeah, it was just super cool. The you know, all of them in their own right.
I completely understand. Hulk Hogan is probably one of the biggest stars of all time when it comes to wrestling. Rey Mysterio, probably the best high flyer of all time. Jeff Hardy, mate, just a charismatic enigma. And The Rock is The Rock. He's still relevant now. He's awesome. Like, I still copy some of his mannerisms, but I'm always going to fail. Just before I understand, basically before I pick apart why he got into wrestling and became a professional wrestler, if there's one match that you can go back in time and watch it live and be attendance, what match would you pick?
That's a great question, man.
Thank you.
I've never heard anyone ask that before. That's such a If I could go back and watch it in attendance.
This question, I've asked it recently, but I always get different answers. That's why it's a good question now.
Because would you go to ECW and see something like Eddie and Dean versus each other in their farewell match at ECW?
And be a part of that crowd as well in Philadelphia.
Or RVD and Jerry Lynn at ECW.
Oh, go heaven. Yeah.
Oh, can you imagine? Or you go Rock and Hogan at Mania, because that's like such a loud...
Just the electricity. Hogan, when he hulks up, honestly, the crowd turned on The Rock, who is one of the most popular wrestlers in the world, and they just turned on him. Canadians.
That would be crazy to be a part of, right? Or I'm even thinking like over in Japan, like Masao and Kobashi, like
nice.
That would be nuts. Eddie winning the title against Brock Lesnar.
No, mate. The anniversary came up not long ago. It's been 18 years now.
Yeah, but time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I've named a few there. I haven't picked one. Let's just go with the last one, especially because it's most current. And I didn't put him over earlier when really, as a child, I was into the guys we mentioned previously.
Yeah.
As I grew up, Eddie was my guy. And the reason he wasn't my guy as a kid was because he was so damn good at being a heel.
Yeah, man, that was it. Like he didn't want to be cheered. He could be best babyface and the best heel. I actually bunked off school to go meet him at Woolworths. Yeah, mate. 6 months before he died. Yeah. I'll share the photo of you on Twitter. He was nice. He was cool. It was only brief, but I had to do it twice. So I had to get the tickets in the morning. Yeah. It was a free event, but I chose him over John Cena. And then queued up for a while, got the ticket, and people were like, "Oh, why you chose Eddie over John Cena?" I was like, "Because I love Eddie." And then, jokes on them. But yeah, thought I'd share that story.
I say, of course, I don't mean to disrespect John Cena. He's a great guy, by all accounts. Seems to be. He follows me on Twitter. How about that? John Cena follows Tate Mayfair's on Twitter because he knows that
Tateness is greatness.
But yeah, I'm jealous. I got to see Eddie Guerrero live in the UK before. I didn't meet him, but I got to see him live. And
but you got to see him wrestle. That's still awesome.
Yeah, man, it was sick.
Who was he against?
It was a I think it was a tag, and it was him and Angle. I want to say against, or maybe it was him and Ray versus Angle and someone. And Big Show. I think maybe it was him and Ray versus Angle.
Awesome,
like a house show. And Eddie came out in a UK England football top.
Nice.
On a pop, and everyone's like, yeah. And then he gets on the turnbuckle, and then he screws up the t-shirt, and he throws it, and then it falls down a meter in front of him. And he's like, gets all hot. he gets all like red, and he's like, "Throw it back in," to the ring crew person, and they're like, oh, and they like throw it up, and it kind of falls again, and they throw it up, and he catches it, and then he's like, right, wraps it up real tight this time. He's like tying knots in it almost.
I may have met him, but I didn't get to experience that, and I'm fucking jealous, man. That's quality. I mean, I hope you've not shared that story before. That's just made me smile. That's so sick, man.
I don't think I've definitely not shared it on a podcast before.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. No, I appreciate you sharing that story to me. What inspired you to become a professional wrestler?
I loved it, dude. I just, and again, maybe because it was kind of, it's untangible. I've heard other people try to explain this, like, why is it sticks so much with some kids and other kids it's a phase. I don't know. I think that maybe that's a real deep, like, psychological question. I'm not sure. I loved it. I did grow up around like I did karate when I was younger. My dad was a martial artist. My grandfathers and great uncles were bare knuckle boxers. So I was around combat. I watched martial arts films, watched the boxing. I liked all of that stuff. I had glasses. I got picked on as a kid, and maybe there was something to like. Maybe there was something special about this alternate world where these larger than life characters, like, good overcame evil, and maybe that was part of it. I'm not sure, but I was just hooked in, man. And when it became less cool, I just stayed in on it. I was true to it. I always looked it up. I was like, I'd write out storylines. I would just like say how my life was going to go.
Like fantasy booking sort of thing,
like matches. I would like plan. Oh, so then I'm going to get the ladder on top of the Hell in a Cell, and I'm going to.
I'll do a 450 on the top of it.
Yeah, I was planning these mad spots in my head, like as a kid, like. And now I tell you what. If I get in a Hell in a Cell match, I am definitely not climbing up a ladder on top of a Hell in a Cell and jumping off it.
Like, you're not high enough.
Like, I don't know why, in my head I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I say that, but maybe when I get the opportunity, like, I'll be like, now's your time. Now's your time. Make it happen. But yeah, I was obsessed with it, and I was looking up. I was determined that I'm gonna go to America, and I'm gonna train there, because it didn't seem like you could do it in the UK. It was not in your.
Wasn't so as resourceful as it is now. It's a bit easier to sort of find places.
So I was like looking at. I remember I had a book, and in the back there was like a wrestling glossary. It had like all of like the wrestling words, and it told you about them. And then the next section in the back had a list of wrestling schools in America, and I was like, oh yeah, who did Triple H got trained by? Killer Kowalski. Okay, he's got school, and the Dudleys got trained by these people. They've got and the Wild Samoans have got school. And I was looking up who, and I was like planning this thing. And then the next thing, I got this magazine called Fighting Spirit magazine. It was around in the UK, and it had some UK indie stuff and like just general indie stuff on it.
Yeah,
and they had a small advert in there for a wrestling school in London, and I was like, oh, okay. So 14-year-old me convinced his parents, hey.
Bloody hell, he was 14 to do it.
I started at 14 years old, yeah.
What was your parents' reaction?
I think, I was a very difficult child. I actually had some serious anger issues. I had very angry, and I was obsessed with wrestling, and it was easier for them to allow to take me to wrestling than to not, because they would have been getting power driven through the table. So
do you want something? Nah, 3D.
So it's like, hey, Dad, take me to wrestling. No, I'm gonna powerbomb you through the table, you bitch. Take me to wrestling.
Rubbish out. No way. I'm not selling this. Nah, sweet man, sweet. What was the name of the school?
Sharpshooter. They didn't even. after I tapped both of them out with a crossface and
Oh,
and then they took me to wrestling school. No, I joke.
I
My
know, I
parents
know. It's fine.
was very supportive. My parents were very supportive in that, but it was
That's good. That's good.
the school, I will not give them the credit because they don't deserve it, because they actually ended up being a really real nasty piece of work who ran the school.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that I got in there, because learning at such a young age, how to do all the moves and the bumping and the the rolls and the hitting the ropes and everything like that was super important, and just it's who I am, it's my life, it's become such a important thing. And I had the opportunity to meet world of sport wrestling stars and have seminars with these guys as well, which was really cool.
Do you ever get to meet what's his name? He recently passed away. Rocco Ball.
Rollerball Rocco.
That's the one. I got it wrong completely. I actually met him a couple of years ago, and I feel so bad for getting that wrong. I do apologise. But you got to meet him.
I did not get to meet him, unfortunately, and he is actually my biggest inspiration from the world of sport era. My biggest.
Oh, nice.
I'm a big Rollerball Rocco fan.
Mm.
But yeah, I didn't get to meet him, but I got to meet and train for a bunch of other guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved on to training underneath Barry Lumbus, who is responsible for helping train the likes of Drake Maverick, Spud, who I got to know and do a couple of training things with at the time.
Oh, nice.
That's my entry. That's how I began.
Yeah. No, that's sweet, man. That's sweet. I want to ask about your debut. It's quite a common theme that I have on the show now, because I get fun stories from it. Your debut, did you have any of your family and friends there, by the way? Just before we talk about the actual debut.
No. So I was I don't know what it's about. I don't know. But I just didn't want my family there. I was just like, no, I'm doing this on my own. I don't want you to be there. Don't embarrass me.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I've never heard that before. Everyone's like, I had my mum and dad, and my brother, uncle, and whatever. I completely understand those. I'm doing this mine. Also, don't like a tip myself, maybe.
I don't know. I just want to go off into I don't know. I just wanted to. This is my thing,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not one of those people that I love.
There's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
I love to, because I went into music as well, right? And it was kind of the same thing. It's I love to perform. I'm a performer. I absolutely
I
love
can see that from your work.
Thank you. But my personal relationships are personal relationships, and I kind of I kind of feel don't come see me do that. I want to
mix it.
Yeah, I don't know why. Just for me, I tend to I don't know. Tend to categorize.
No, mate. I completely understand. I think listeners will as well. You just want to keep it. This is your career. This is your path. You're focusing on yourself. That's fair. That is absolutely fair. But I mean, they really know what you do, but you don't want to have them at every show. You just want to focus on yourself. And I completely understand.
Yeah. This is what it is. So the debut itself was actually two weeks into wrestling training. Technically, my debut was 2 weeks into wrestling training. We had a rumble.
Hell, 2 weeks.
Yeah, but it was a rumble, right? So it's it's punching and kicking, and maybe and then getting thrown over the top on a rope. So it was fairly easy. It may have even aired on the wrestling channel at the time.
Oh my god, the wrestling channel, yeah, man. Oh god, I'm so glad you mentioned that. That's made me smile now.
What a callback to what a great time that was. Yeah. We should have that again. We should have that
man.
Again.
My introduction to TNA, AJ and Samoa Joe, but for you to be in wrestling channel, you're 2 weeks into wrestling. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. It's pretty cool, but again, a rumble. So I feel like I owe you a better story for a debut. Maybe
that's cool.
I had the first singles match on a show. Again, I would have been the same age, 14. Maybe I was 15 by this time.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember I had my gear, had bought cool gear and stuff like that, and I'm making my entrance. I'm like, yeah, big baby face energy. And the guy doing the ring announcing goes, and coming to the ring, Daniel Ills, which is not my name or the name.
Such a random name. Did you know before he was going to announce that?
No, and what I also didn't know is that there was actually someone called Danny Ills in the audience in the front row, who it was a rib on both that person and me. So as I'm doing this, they go Danny Ills, and him and all of his friends were like, "What the hell? Boo!" And I was like, and now they're booing me, and I'm confused. They just said my name wrong, and now these people are booing me for no reason. I was just, it's like, what is going on? The match went well though, so it's all.
How
good.
long did you last in the Rumble?
In the Rumble one? I don't know, man. I was 14.
Double digits, or would you say?
Actually, I'll tell you what happened. It was actually about an hour and a half, hour 45, and I went in there and I one punch banged everyone out and had to throw them over the top rope. It's what took so long is because I was so small at the time. I had to get in all these big guys.
Is there any proof of this, by the way, or is it lost footage?
It all belongs to the Wrestling Channel files.
Yeah. Convenient, man. I was going to say if you could show the listeners once they've listened to this, but it's lost footage. I'm sorry, guys. I did ask, but yeah,
I think I had to delete it as well because it was such a massacre. It was scary. This idea of a 14-year-old like just one banging everyone out. People were crying, broken jaws, blood everywhere. It was yeah. They had to get rid of it, unfortunately, but.
Well, that nice of a guy, like, you told him you had their best interest. That is,
I said it's not good for the humanity to actually witness this. Like, it's gonna scar people. It's gonna cause like problems. So, and ever since then, I don't.
So because of this Rumble appearance, is this the reason why we don't have the Wrestling Channel anymore? That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard.
It got pulled off the network just for that.
Nice
I'm
one,
sorry.
No. Nice one. I will talk about like some of the towns you visited and companies you've been in, but I want to go back to what the fans have been chanting about you, the Primark MJF. Now, I know you've said before that you have. I know he was cheap. I'm not that your words, not mine. And you have rode with him. But if you could tell the listeners about your experience with Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Old Maxwell. Old Maxi Pad. He we were on the show together at Wrestling League over in Harwich, and then I was told can you take him back? Can you put him up for the night? I was like, yeah, of course I could do that. That'd be cool. So all was good, all was well. I'm gonna keep this story short for whatever. But he stays the night. The next day, he's meant to go on to meet actually Sunshine Machine, TK and Mambo. They weren't called that at the time, but TK and Mambo.
Chuck Mambo has been a guest in this before. Just a cheap plug.
Oh my god!
One of the episodes on here if you want to watch it. Continue.
I will. Yeah, because you're a good dude, and he's a great dude as well.
He's cool, man. He's cool.
Have you had Teeks on yet?
No, man. I couldn't find a contact for him, but I do want him on the show. Definitely, he's a good guy. I met him at a show before, and I've seen him wrestle loads of times, but I wasn't able to. I don't think his inbox was open. Chuck, it's quite easy to
go through Mambo then.
Might have to, man. I think I need to get both of them, but yeah, they're both good lads. They're both good lads.
Good dudes. Good dudes. So I had to drop. Well, so Maxwell had to get to them. And then go off to either I think even then he was going to do the IPW show. I was told I only had to put him up for the night, and then he was going to get a train from me to meet those guys, right? That's what I agreed to. That's what I was told. But then I get there, and he's like, "Oh man, you can't put me on the train. You can't do that. Like you need to drive me there." I was like, "But I'm going to be late to my show at IPW," and he's like, no, like you need to do it, like because that's what's been agreed, and now you're gonna leave me stranded in this like foreign country with my bags, and I'm gonna be scared and all the rest. So I was like, oh, I don't want to like fine.
Mm.
Okay. So I ended up having to be late to my show and tell the promoter there, and I thought I'll do it for the guy. And he was like, don't worry, I've told the other people they're going to sort out the expenses. You won't be out of pocket. He didn't. I was out of pocket.
I was going to ask that, man. So how much of MJF, like we see on the TV, how much of that is him in real life?
So and so. I don't know what the guy wants me to say or not to say.
Don't want to spoil the fun. That's fair. That's fair. I will get out of someone one day.
It's not too far. I'm ribbing on the guy.
I've heard that quite a lot. Like it's not that far off, but I just want someone one day to say, "Oh, it's actually really nice." Like he paid for my lunch. Like he bought me Nando's. Like
here's the real story. Here's the real story. We're in the car, driving to TK Mambo, and I swear to God, I've never said this on a podcast before, so there's another exclusive for you. But I'm convinced that what's the thing he did with Jericho? The dinner for two?
Oh, the dining thing, that was horrendous. And I'm sorry, but I said it on Twitter, it was fucking awful. But yeah, when they sing and the dancing and the ham dinner, that was...
I'm convinced that is based off a car journey that me and him had. Because the car journey...
Really?
I'm driving and I'm trying to get conversation with him. And he conversates when we're talking together, and then then he just kind of checks out, which is fine. Like it's okay. Like who am I? You don't need to you don't know me anything. Like I'm just giving you a lift. You're biggest at this point, not now, but at the point then, he was a bigger star than me. Like I mean, I've been on this road and hung out with people all across the industry, and they all actually are great to hang out with. It's person to person. I can understand you're in.
Yeah, I mean, you've only just met. Like it doesn't always click. It can be awkward sometimes.
It doesn't always click, right? It doesn't. Some people are amazing from the get go. Shout out Timothy,
especially from different country. So in the way, like we both speak English, but it's fine. Like I really don't judge people. Like people have different personality types, and like people are tired. People are, especially when on tour, have not slept much. Like, and like it doesn't need to. Like, but anyway, we have little bits of conversation, but it's not flowing. And I'm like, what have I got to do to get this guy to like? I was like, dude, do you want to what kind of music do you want to listen to? And he goes, has a look through what I had, and he's like, oh, let's put on Stevie Wonder. So he puts on Stevie Wonder, and it's and the next thing, Superstition comes on, and then like we both start like nodding our head. It's a good fucking song, by the way.
Tapping our playing the drums in our thighs, and then we're both out there. There is Superstition, Guardians on the wall. We're both going for it, full guns blazing. Top of our lungs. Playing the drums on the steering wheel on our hands, we're looking at each other, we're like, don't understand. And then it finishes and it goes back to
it's like all the tail, isn't it? Like
and then it goes back to silence, and he turns his back to me and he's on his phone in the corner. I'm like, so I'm sure like
you're the reason why we had that. Okay, look, it did well numbers. People liked it. Some people hated it. I love MJF. I like Jericho, but the segment just wasn't for me. But you are the reason for this. So thank you.
I'm sure.
I have to do a thumbnail.
I'm sure
you and MJF. Stevie Wonder in the corner. Just like Photoshop, just like Superstition.
Yeah. There's wrestling fans get an image of that for a minute, like Tate Mayfairs and MJF driving through central London singing Superstition at each other.
And all the people you would pick, Stevie Wonder. I mean, nothing wrong with Stevie Wonder. He's awesome. Like,
hey, I tell you what, Stevie Wonder is a top draw. I've jammed out to Stevie Wonder with ELP, with TK. Cooper, he loves the Stevie Wonder.
No reason to have TKL. We can talk about Steve Wonder, but yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's that story.
I'll ask you, man, because I know you're into your music as well, and like you've done it. What in terms of music? What is it that you actually did, like producing, singing in the bands? Like, what was your music background?
Yeah, no, I did it all actually. I started. It was more like, again, it's the performance thing, right? So it was being a front man in rock bands. Actually, even before that, actually, as a kid, I was produced. We had like a little software, like it was like a it's called like Dance EJ or something. It's like a small little game, but I would like producing tunes on this as a kid, and then I was like yeah, playing guitar and writing songs and playing them on my own. And then I got into rock bands, and I was like the front man, and I was helping write. I was writing the songs, and I was performing them on my own and playing guitar and singing. Yeah, basically that. And that took on many different versions, but playing guitar and singing and writing songs and recording and producing. Yeah, that's what I was doing most of.
Nice, man. Did you find any success in it as you have in wrestling? Or do you still have any projects involved in terms of music?
Did pretty decent. Like I made a living off it for a period of time. Touring, we had like some really well produced stuff, and I had some label interest and had like different, like either being put forward by label created projects, or have my bands looked at by labels, or I got signed to a management deal.
Nice.
But and like I say, made a living off of it with my friends for like a couple of years. But that's as far as it went. And truthfully, like it was fun and it was great, but I do not love it nearly.
Wrestling is what you love. That is your true passion.
Absolutely.
No, I respect that, man. We'll go back into the wrestling. Just guys, let's talk about music. It's like, well, fuck off, it's my podcast.
Yeah, podcast.
Man, we're getting to know Tate Mayfairs. Like I've got to dig deep. I've got to find out everything, and I will find out about the 22nd also. But there's some more things to talk about. Before I talk about Progress Wrestling, I also want to talk about what have been some of your favourite towns to wrestle in the UK.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got a strong love for a part of my heart, rather. Let's say, a special place in my heart for
Essex.
It is. Yeah. Old Harwich in Essex.
That doesn't really count. That's like literally like the outside of that. It is technically Essex, but it's not. Like everyone in Essex, we like to do Essex, but they do.
So really? Oh, it's one of them.
It's literally outside of it.
Well, I don't know. I've just done so many shows there.
Yeah.
And got to wrestle some cool stars and be a part of. Had a match that involved a football player, James Norwood from Norwich, or was it Ipswich Town? Sorry. And that was on like Sky Sports News and
that was you.
Yeah.
Was that you? Fucking hell. Yeah. Oh mate, I'm not gonna get too deep into the football talk, but that was you.
Smacked right across the chops.
I remember seeing it on Sky News. Yeah. And on like Twitter. Football Twitter's great, by the way. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Right. The football thing just kind of froze it a little bit. But yeah, that's awesome, man. Mate, tell me more about that. I want to hear.
So I think he was doing like wrestling celebrations to all his goals, right?
Yeah.
The Rock came up and was like, "Yeah, good form." So he popped on that, and then next thing I know, he wants to come special guest referee one of our matches. And then he stuck his big nose in where it don't belong. And I said, mate, you are barking up the wrong tree here. Like, you're special guest referee, but you ain't that special. And he said, oh, I can't even remember. He was just like, oh, score goals. I was like, you score nothing, mate. I was like, you couldn't score nothing, mate. And I pie-faced him across the ring like that. And then because that was it, and then he cheap shot punched me like a little loser, and it made
Play for Ipswich. I mean, like,
yeah.
Sorry to the Ipswich fans out there. I do apologise. I'm Arsenal, so that's all right.
Oh, he's a gooner!
Tottenham. Shit.
Oh, respect.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's all about the Arsenal. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, I smacked him up and it made Sky Sports News. So there you go.
Oh, that's sick, man. That is so cool. One of my mates to listen to this is gonna love that story. That's man, things you find out. Arsenal fan as well. Fucking love it, man. Love it.
Yeah.
Mate,
my granddad was actually my dad. My dad was a Tottenham fan. He is a Tottenham fan. And he was like, we will not indoctrinate my children. We will let them make their own decisions in life. My granddad, my mum's dad, Arsenal fan, diehard. And he goes, I see an opening. So he starts buying me Arsenal shirts. He goes, hey, I've got tickets to come to the Highbury if you want to come. And I'm like, yes, granddad, let's go. So yeah, little old me, I was a junior gunner.
Granddad ever. Shout out to TATE MAYFAIRS, granddad.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yes. Yeah,
I think I followed him just because of my dad, but I didn't have that much detail to the story. But Tottenham in your family, I'm sorry to hear, man. Like, we can end the podcast on that. We can have a cry for a minute.
Now you can understand why I put him in the sharpshooter, you know.
He deserved it. He deserved everything he got.
But yeah, I used to love it, man. We'd be in the West Stand, Highbury, in the North Stand, Highbury, with my granddad singing the songs. I was a junior gunner. Great time.
Nice, man. Nice. I mean, as your like granddad was an old Arsenal fan. I've met Charlie George. I mean, I did the tours, and like, he's such a lovely guy. I met him twice. Obviously, he's got a missing finger. I didn't clock on the second time. So, but he's a legend, absolute legend. I actually met Ray Parlour not long ago.
Oh, too.
I was pretty hammered, I'm not going to lie, but he was so cool. It's like, Ray! My mate was like, he goes, Ray, I love you more. I love you. But Ray Parlour's quality, man. Never thought I'd be talking to an actual Arsenal fan and having a debate, not a debate, a conversation. Fucking love it. Back to the wrestling, because predominantly my audience is wrestling fans. They do sometimes tire me talking about football, but it is what it is. Fuck off. But anyway, back to the wrestling. Progress Wrestling.
Your only unique brand is what sells it the most. Like, they listen to you because they like you and everything that encompasses that. And
I try to be myself. I try to be different. I try not to stick to a formula, which is very match of all time. Yeah.
Actually, I'm having fun, mate. It's a good podcast.
No, it's good, man. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. To those that have been insulting you, by the way, the Progress fans, I disagree now.
Yeah.
Like, no, you are hurting his feelings. But I'm joking. He don't give a shit about you. But might as well call them Spurs fans. But back to the wrestling talk. Progress Wrestling. You faced off recently against Dean Allmark, British wrestling legends, not long ago, and you wrestled a few times. Now, you have discussed about the fan base, so we won't go into that again, but I want to hear from you. How have you found your experiences in Progress Wrestling?
Fantastic. I tell you, like, yeah, they're a great company to work for. They are, and if people know much about me and the ins and outs of the business in the UK indies thing, like, I have been absolutely everywhere, all over this country, and been a part of many promotions and worked with many people, both sides of the curtain. And I'm not taking away from anyone else, like, I don't mean to, like, I'm not putting down anyone else. There's many companies that, and I could list a bunch off that put on incredible shows that also, like, look after the talent incredibly well. But I feel like Progress is a great place to be in both sides of the curtain, for sure.
What to take away from the other companies that you've worked for? Obviously, they help you improve as a wrestler, gain experience, and obviously, make friends in the business. But Progress, it's a well-known company worldwide. It's on the WWE network. You have that exposure. It has a very strong fan base. You know, during the pandemic, it was one of the only companies in this country that was still kind of operating. Yeah, they didn't have any fans, but people were still able to watch on a regular basis. And for you to be a part of that, you know, I mean, it's going to be a big deal for you.
Absolutely, and I've been involved in working for Progress for several years now. Like, yes, I've got 2 matches on the network, WWE Network with them. Yes, I've done 2 dark matches, pre-show matches for them. But I have been at every single show for the last 3-4 years, working in some capacity on production and the running of the show.
Wow,
as well.
that, mate. That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, and I will say that, like, they are the most well put together and professionally ran wrestling company.
So you are quite multi-talented. You're not just a wrestler. Like, obviously the music, the production side, behind the scenes in terms of wrestling, and obviously doing it, you know, in the ring as well as you do. But there's a lot more to you. Not just a Primark MJF.
Professional wrestler to ever walk planet Earth. Taking it with greatness. It ain't just.
Maybe you're not just saying it for the sake of it. Maybe you genuinely are.
It's the truth. It's the truth. It is the truth. And I understand. Here's another layer for you. I understand. I get why someone would hear something like Tennis's greatness or the greatest professional wrestler to ever walk planet Earth, and they go, "That's big. That's amazing.
That's arrogant. Like, he's full of it."
Yeah, he's joking. They said it's a laugh. Oh, it is, you know, both arrogant. But I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it. And yes, I get it. You could look at, Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, all of these guys, and you could say, oh, that's clearly way more up there than you are. I say, yeah, perception-wise, these Dinlo fans who don't know what they're looking at, don't know their ass from their elbow, gravitate towards perception. You're so easily swayed by public perception and thoughts and the grand mass hysteria. If you look at the work, if you look at the fine detail, if you look at the person, at the soul, at the spirit, you will see that I am far greater than all of them. And you will see that as time passes, and by the time I leave this planet, you will be completely dumbfounded. You will have nothing left to say. It will be undeniable that I am the greatest professional wrestler to ever walk planet Earth.
Believe every word you say. That's why I was quite shocked to have you on as a guest, if I'll be honest, because I didn't realize there would be an opportunity. The opportunity came. I took it, and I'm so glad to have you on. I have got a few questions left, and not necessarily wrestling based, but they're quite fun. And I think how you are, I think you're going to kind of enjoy this. If you could pick one actor to play you in a movie based on your life, who would you pick?
Oh, damn, I don't think there's anyone young and pretty enough.
Tom Holland, if you got to pick someone?
Huh?
Tom Holland?
Tom Holland. That's a good shout. I think my favorite actor is Leonardo DiCaprio. So maybe if he could go.
What's your favorite Leo film? What's your favorite Leo film?
Ooh. Oh, you got me now.
Let's say Wolf of Wall Street.
That's good. That's good.
Revenant, Gangs of New York.
Gangs of New York, yeah.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Shutter Island, Inception.
Inception is good. Not his best performance, but it's a very good film.
Yeah. Do you know what I thought in terms of acting? Like, you know, the one he did, the Tarantino one. Yeah. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, see, I didn't think that was his best at all. I thought the film was so overrated.
So
Brad Pitt was good. Brad Pitt was excellent.
The film can be like, it's not my favorite Tarantino film.
I think I need to watch it again.
Like, Leo's acting when he's playing the actor, trying to remember, like, oh, that was sick. That was so good. The bit where he's like this washed up actor and he's trying to get his lines right, and then and like nail this scene, and then he has this, like, you know, this like this kid actor is part of the same sort of film as him. I'm gonna like get lost in the bushes trying to explain what happened, but there's a scene where he finally hits his words right.
Yeah.
And like so emotional, and then this little innocent girl was like, "Well done, you're a really good actor," and he like gets emotional about this whole thing. I was like,
I do remember that scene.
I'm drawn in. It's so really
I
good.
think I was just thrown off a little bit. And Tarantino is one of the best directors of all time. I mean, like Django Unchained, Leo, like the bit when he breaks the glass and he fucks his hand up. Obviously, that's unscripted. I mean, that bit as well. It's like, yeah, my curiosity. It's such a good film. But Leo is up there. So I say Leo, Denzel, and Robert De Niro probably for me. But so what if you could have the opportunity to have Leo? I don't know, go back in time maybe, or the Agent CGI, which you saw in The Irishman, which was terrible, by the way. I'm saying this on record.
It was a bit boring.
The CGI
films.
was so bad. It was horrendous. Like you got 8-year-old Joe Pesci, like trying to be like 40-year-old. It was so bad. Sorry.
It weren't special. It weren't like the other films.
No, but I think critics, because it's Martin Scorsese, they're so scared to like Marvel films. They're so scared to shit on it and say like their honest opinion.
I'll tell you this right now. I have not watched. I don't give two shits about a Marvel film. I do not care.
That's controversial.
I know. In wrestling world, everyone hates that. They love to play their video games. They love to watch their Marvel. And it's kind of. But I do not give a toss, mate. I do not care.
All right now.
Come on,
I'm like MJ, man. He's like, I don't care. I voted the guy. Actually, no, fuck off.
I like gangster films and martial arts films, and so and like I know I don't even have that much time to watch films either. Like I'm busy making money.
Yeah, I know you are. You're smashing it, man, and I feel like that's maybe what's to do with the 22nd of February.
Yeah, I got words to say. Mate,
I'm going to be paying attention to it, man. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing that. One last question. I'm not going to ask what's your favourite match because it's probably a boring one. Or who do you want to wrestle? Because that's probably boring as well. If you can pick 3 guests for a dream dinner party, who would you pick? It doesn't have to be wrestling.
It doesn't.
Like, as a fellow Brit, I might get some fun answers. But you can pick. It can be wrestling if you really want to. It can be whoever you want. But you're the host. You're making this meal for the 3 guests. Dream, past, present, dead or alive. Go.
I think it's gonna have to be fun. It can't just be good.
You're going to be picking their brains. People that you really want to know, like things that you probably may never ever find out.
Muhammad Ali's got to be there.
Yeah. Good. That's a very good guess. Well, we'll put you on the spot for this one, ain't I?
Alexander the Great.
Nice, historical. I did not see that one coming. Okay, like that.
Alexander the Great, Muhammad Ali, and me. Jesus, that's a damn good dinner.
Well, you're actually going to say Jesus then.
And Jesus as well. Let's do it. Yeah.
Get the wine sorted, you'll be fine.
Let's do it.
Don't need Tesco Valley wine, you'll be fine.
Me, Jesus, Muhammad Ali, and Alexander the Great.
Got so much Photoshop to do now. Muhammad Ali and Alexander the Great.
I'd put that on a t-shirt and buy it myself.
Mate, if I can do it quite well, honestly, you need to set up Progress or wherever you go in the UK. Awesome, man. I know you got a big thing coming out next week, but what else have you got lined up this year that you can reveal on the podcast?
There'll be more with Progress. There will be more with TNT and
shout out to TNT, man. I've had a few people from there. I pay attention to it a lot as well. Awesome company. Awesome.
Really, really, really good production. Really good wrestling.
Good
really
fans, not just good people all around. Yeah.
I mean, well, not the fans.
Dicks. So, guys, I need you to follow this podcast and subscribe.
You can follow him, but you can shut your mouth when you talk about me. You better put the respect on my name and stop telling about my gear like it looks like your grandma's.
Wetherspoons carpet.
carpet. Like a,
You have
like
to
a-
admit, though, right? In the UK, we are pretty fucking creative with our insults and chants. As much as it bugs you, do you think sometimes, I really want to smack him, but it's actually quite creative?
No comment. No comment.
Fair play.
The other day I landed on my nuts on the top rope, and the crowd started chanting, "You're not wanking, you're not wanking, Mayfair's ain't wanking anymore." Yeah,
I'm so glad it's not a family show.
I was like in pain, so much pain, emotional damage, and physical pain, and it was unpleasant. But
I'm not even going to ask how your balls are because I don't want to know.
I will state publicly so they know that they working fine, and they're working better than any of theirs. A bunch of Dinlo melts. I'm just take this as
How you
greatness.
want, say how you want. Believe him or not, it's up to you.
What was the question? What was it?
We got lined up next. You said TNT.
So there'll be more of these, more of that. Like there's other things, keep them under wraps. You'll see as time reveals itself.
Nice.
Outside of wrestling, I'll be shooting a film. I'm starring in a film called Chocolate Roulette.
Nice.
Yeah, which is meant to happen earlier, but because of COVID, it keeps getting pushed back. Directors in Portugal and the producers in Los Angeles. Sounds kind of big. Sounds kind of cool.
That's awesome.
That's the reason why it's been pushed back longer. It will be filmed later this year, and that'll be another cool thing to do. And then I can go forward for my James Bond role because.
Because obviously you're going to replace Daniel Craig, definitely. I mean, you got competition with yours truly. No.
Hey. I see you at the audition.
Oh, mate. I've already got the role, mate. They've been on phones, mate.
They told me they said
I'll stick with sitting on the chair, talking to wrestlers, although the conversations may not be as fun as it has been this fucking last hour or so, because it's been honestly. I feel like being able to switch off a little bit as well. Like just being able to have a bit of a laugh. But obviously I'm a genuine fan. I'm so glad to have had you on the podcast. All the things that you do have lined up, if the fans want to stay up to date, where can they find you on social media?
TATE MAYFAIRS on all of it. So YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Bebo, MySpace, Friendster.
Bring back MySpace. Are you on BBM as well?
Yeah, Eversend Messenger, all of it. So yeah,
nudge.
Find me there. I'm nudging people, just nudging. Yeah.
Oh, I love it, man. Love it. Tate, I've got to thank you for coming on. It's been an absolute blast. For everyone that's listened to this episode, there's going to be more episodes of What You Call It podcast coming up very soon. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also, please follow me on social media descriptions. You'll find the details other way around. Details in the description below. And also, happy birthday to yours truly. Had to squeeze that one in again. I mean, Tate said happy birthday, so you have to as well. But for now, everyone, have a good weekend and take care.
Woohoo!
The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at wrestlingwithjohners.com.